this Jack Smith character who hasn't even lived in the United States for the last decade. He is a UN war crimes prosecutor, and he's been on the tribunals, because you don't get jury trials with the UN. You get a tribunal of these whack jobs. And of course, they couldn't convict Slobodan Milosevic, so they just poisoned him to death in his cell. And this guy worked on that. So if you want to get your neck broken in your New York federal cell, he's the guy. If you want to kill somebody in their cell, he's your guy. If you want to set up stuff, he's your guy. Then his wife is this vicious libtard who produces all these anti-American TV shows and movies and documentaries, including the Netflix Big Mike special on Michelle. I mean, well, Obama calls him Michael, his wife, Michael. So Jack Smith, this UN prosecutor, and that's actually him in his UN prosecutor baby blue and black robes, is a joke. He's on a power trip. He thinks he's doing things no one's ever done before. No, you're doing what they do in Nazi Germany and Venezuela and the old Soviet Union. And so he is a UN stooge. We're going under UN treaties for our health care, UN control of our power, our electricity. Everything's being turned off. And now, kind of a cherry on top, we have an active UN prosecutor and tribunal member for the first time in U.S. history prosecuting the guy we all know won the last election. It's Friday, June 9th, 2023. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Very honored to be here with you today. Well, I knew they were getting ready to indict Trump, but when they did it, it was still a punch in the stomach. And I'm going to do my best here today. Roger Stone's coming up in about 25 minutes to really go through the meat and potatoes of this, because I've been watching a lot of the other pundits and political analysts that are some of the smartest people out there that I know. They still don't get the full import of this and how serious and dangerous this is and how reckless this is. This is the first time in U.S. history in our 250 years, roughly, that a former or current president has been indicted by a federal grand jury. Now, you then look at this Jack Smith character. He's known for false prosecutions. In fact, he has a record, and he's a young prosecutor comparatively, for having his high-profile prosecutions overturned. Now, you think that means he's a loser. No, it means he'll take cases that are so criminal, that are so illegal, but he'll still take a shot at you. And here's the difference. He's planning to indict Trump 4 times in the next few months. The document hoax, the January 6th hoax, the Georgia election meddling hoax, which is also a state grand jury's open, but so are the feds. And they're looking at the cash payments as well, and a whole other raft of things. Now, this is right as the FBI, under congressional orders, released its own internal documents that indeed Biden is a Russian/Ukrainian/Chinese agent. He's like a vending machine. You just put money in, you get it. He's an agent of selling us out. Not a Chinese agent, not a Russian agent, not a Ukrainian agent. You put money in, you get what you want out of it. So that documents out that he got $5 million from Burisma, which of course his son was working there for massive amounts of money as well. And all he knows how to do is smoke crack and have sex with underage hookers. So with this insane backdrop, the same day that broke, this Jack Smith character, who hasn't even lived in the United States for the last decade, he is a UN war crimes prosecutor, and he's been on the tribunals, because you don't get jury trials with the UN. You get a tribunal of these whack jobs. And of course, they couldn't convict Slobodan Milosevic, so they just poisoned him to death in his cell. And this guy worked on that. So if you want to get your neck broken in your New York federal cell, he's the guy. If you want to kill somebody in their cell, he's your guy. If you want to set up stuff, he's your guy. Then his wife is this vicious libtard who produces all these anti-American TV shows and movies and documentaries, including the Netflix Big Mike special on Michelle. I mean, well, Obama calls him Michael, his wife, Michael, in 2 different speeches. We have the clips coming up. He'll be doing it, and my wife, Michael. So it's all just a big joke in our face. It's all about rubbing it in our face. Yeah, here he is at a military commencement calling him Big Mike. So that's where we get the term. And here she is saying he's Big Mike. Joan Rivers was murdered by having gasoline poured down her throat 2 weeks later. Literally, they said that the people that saw it happen, it was like she was fire breathing when she died. That's what you get. So I'm not laughing. It's just crazy. How'd she die? Well, her head caught on fire. We're not sure. So seriously, I'm not joking. Look it up. Can't make this stuff up. So that's all coming up today, but just stunning. Even though I knew it was coming, stunning. So you say, well, you know, this whole kangaroo court thing in New York, that'll get defeated. And, this president can declassify anything he wants. And they're floating around this audio tape, the transcript of it, where he's like, well, I could declassify whatever I wanted to, but I decided not to declassify this Iran attack plan, but I kept it. Well, he can declassify it for his archives. That's what the law says. It's its own branch of government. And the minute other branches control it, you don't have an executive branch. That's why they've never indicted a president. Because then you're a banana republic, then it's bye-bye. So Jack Smith, this UN prosecutor, and that's actually him and his UN prosecutor, baby blue and black robes, is a joke. He's on a power trip. He thinks he's doing things no one's ever done before. No, you're doing what they do in Nazi Germany and Venezuela and the old Soviet Union. And so he is a UN stooge. We're going under UN treaties for our health care, UN control of our power, our electricity. Everything's being turned off. And now, kind of a cherry on top, we have an active UN prosecutor and tribunal member for the first time in U.S. history prosecuting the guy we all know won the last election, who is, depending on the poll, 10 to 25 points. The polls where he does, these are scientific polls, 10 to 25, that's the range. I mean, a supreme whopping lead on Joe Biden. Never before any number's been seen like this. 5 points ahead is huge generally, with 2 major, quote, contenders. Then you've got him in a Rasmussen poll out of a national field of Republicans, 69% against 5 other candidates. 69%. Other polls show him with similar numbers. Talking about Trump. So they're crapping their britches because there's not enough mail-in ballots, not enough illegal aliens, not enough people that have moved out of their district who've had their identity stolen to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. I mean, again, they banned Tucker Carlson. He goes from 5 million viewers to 100 million a day plus. So here's the problem here, though. They keep doubling down. And even the British Ministry of Defense said the world's never been in greater danger of nuclear war and said maybe it's time to just go ahead and do a peace deal. But Biden says we're never stopping nuclear wars on the table. So it's all completely cuckoo land. These people are not going to stop. And civilization, as we know, could end at any time. But before we go to break, please remember, we're listener supported. We're not subscriber based. We're supported by you buying products at InfoWarsStore.com, and they're excellent. We're selling out of X3. It's our best seller. We have to end the sale because at current sales rates, in 2 weeks, it'll be gone. Try iodine, incredible for your immune system, your electrochemical activity, every cell in the body. It's essential. Without it, without iodine, you die. That's why they're targeting iodine, taking it out of the diet. You need it. They put the bad halogens in to block the iodine and the chlorine, the fluoride, the bromine. You need this product. It takes about 2 weeks to kick in on average. Take a few drops a day. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. And it's 25% off. It is your last chance. Discover the power of activated iodine. Try iodine, true, nascent. Iodine takes your system just to the next level. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. Emergency broadcast Friday. Globalist controlled DOJ hijacking 2024 presidential election with Trump indictment. We break down exclusive intel on Trump's next move with Roger Stone next segment. The deep state's indictment of President Trump is nothing more than JFK 2.0. Instead of physically blowing his head off, they are politically and criminally assassinating him, completing our journey into banana republic plutocratic dictatorship. And that's a mouthful, but that's really what's going on. Not a shred of exaggeration there. In fact, I'm understating how bad this is. Now, here's what's even scarier. This is going to blow up in their face super bad. You're like, well, isn't that good? Except these crazy people never give up. And so this escalates out of control and ends with a whole bunch of horrible scenarios unfolding in different permutations. And the globalists totally defeated, and a very good chance we're all dead too. And they're going to keep holding us hostage, and we're not going to stop, and they're not going to stop. And so this is it. Okay, it's called a war. And it's all a bunch of really cocky, crazy lawyers who live in their own weird UN bubbles and New York bubbles and strut around and act tough to each other and everything. And they have no idea they got a tiger by the tail. But the way they do, I mean, that's why Comey would look totally freaked out with Jen Psaki a few days ago. He is confronted peacefully by the people everywhere he goes. It's a beautiful thing. And there's that little political operative that lied to Congress over and over again. I know nothing about leaking. No, the FBI is not leaking anything. He later was like, well, I gave it to a law professor and a media professor to leak it. I mean, I didn't leak it. Again, that's like the Gambino crime family saying, well, I, as the Don, didn't order them to burn down that grocery store because they didn't pay protection money, but I gave somebody else the order to order it. Or I didn't give the order for that murder. I just gave my captain the order to have them give the order to murder. I'm giving you an order to tell them to murder. Okay, that's right. I'm telling you to tell them to murder. And so there he is. He's like, well, of course, I mean, I leaked everything, but I didn't leak it. I told them to leak it for me. And he's up there on Monday. He says, well, we've got to indict Trump. He's coming after us. I mean, we've got to not let him be the president. I mean, he'll get control of the Justice Department. And we'll all go to jail. And they just sit up there actually being honest about that. We're criminals. We're all going to go to jail. And so we've got to stop the popular president. We already stole the election once. Now he's 20 points ahead of Biden, 30 points, 35 points ahead of DeSantis. Chris Christie is polling at like 2%. These people are all complete jokes compared to Trump now. And didn't they know indicting him in New York or having that fake show trial about rape, civil trial, would only make him more popular? People see, and now a federal indictment. And as people learned that he's a UN war crimes prosecutor and lives in the Netherlands and just came back a year and a half ago to take this over, and that his wife's good friends with Michelle Obama and makes movies about Big Mike. And they've got witnesses coming forward. They were offered money and judgeships if they would lie about Trump. I mean, this is crazy. This is super dangerous. But again, they've all convinced themselves as a political group they're unstoppable. And they've got the media, and they've got the Justice Department, and they've got the, and they could turn the power off and blame it on us, and they could stage an attack and say we're white supremacists, and they could kick the Russians' asses, and they could ship in fentanyl, and they could flood the border, and they could cut off the power plants, and they're just doing it all as if rubbing our faces in it. They're like, well, we're losing. Well, just bankrupt everybody. That'll show them to love us. And then we'll pose as the saviors. No, everyone who's got a brain knows it's you guys. And so, Jack Smith, oh my gosh, his wife makes Netflix movies about Obama and his husband, and so amazing, and Hollywood's so cool, and Rupert Murdoch's so powerful, and you're so scary, and look, you're wearing purple, blue, Klingon outfits like Klaus Schwab at the UN. You're so magnificent. I never got to this clip yesterday, and the deputy head of the EU was like, and we will teach you Americans that you will not challenge us. If you engage in speech we do not like, we will have you arrested. I mean, this is a real quote. So we are watching you Americans very closely, and you will eat the bugs, and you will give us your children, and we're going to cut your daughter's breast off. It's all, and you will, of course, drink sewage, and we're closing half the Dutch farms, and Ireland is passing laws, and you will not have any food anymore. And we bring in the Muslims to stab the children at the park. Good, stab the babies. See how you likes it? Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Meanwhile, all the major universities, Jews run the world, kill them, they're the devil, they're the worst people ever. And meanwhile, the ADL's Trump's a Nazi, so's Alex Jones. You pull Trump off the Wailing Wall in his yarmulke and stand him up against a firing squad. He's Hitler. Meanwhile, George Soros loves Hitler. He's good. You know, it's cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. And yeah, a large part of the public can't find their ass with both hands. But those people don't matter. They're just your stooges. But the thinking people of every color, race, gender, you name it, know exactly what's going on. And you guys are not going to get away with this. But I'll give it to you. You may just destroy the planet. And you know what? Let's just start over. It's kind of like Medvedev said a month ago. All right, let's just have a nuclear war. I mean, at a certain point, let's just kill all the Russians. They can kill all of us. And they'll get me, but they'll get the globalists too. So you know what? Absolutely. Before you cut off more children's penises and everything, God, maybe it is just time to just wipe us off the face of the earth. And if I get stepped on in the process, I'll just kiss your foot while it stomps me flatter than a pancake. But you know what? The children don't deserve that, so we've got to fight to preserve civilization. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't blame God one bit if he didn't blow this whole thing up. But God's sparing it for the children and wants to see what we're going to do in this situation. But I can tell you right now, we've forgotten God. It's why we're a cursed nation. And the feds are crazy. It's a mob of criminals at the top who've convinced themselves because they've gotten away with all this crime that they're going to go to the next thing. No, everyone sees you doing it and is sitting there with their mouths hanging open, you maniacs. And all the crime. It'd be one thing if Biden was clean cut and wasn't a pedophile and his son wasn't a pedophile and taking money from foreign governments and all the corruption. But he's like cartoon corrupt, and Trump is the opposite. Trump wants power and to be the guy that turns the country around and be the turnaround savior. Trump wants to be the savior. He wants milk and honey, prosperity. He wants to be the hero. He's got blind spots, but he cares about people, okay? You guys want to screw everybody over and are the biggest jerks the planet ever saw because you have a needle dick syndrome of looking down on anybody else doing well. And you're indicting Trump for nothing while we have this criminal stumbling around crapping his drawers? I mean, what the hell is your major malfunction? What is your problem, you stupid-ass devil worshipers? Oh.
Watch the American Journal weekday mornings 8 to 11 Central at band.video.
Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
The silent majority
Is no longer
silent. This is the War Room with Owen Schroyer.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
So Gen Z workers are not going to be faring too well in the workplace, and that doesn't spell good for us in the future. One thing I could recommend is I think we need to get some of these Gen Zers on Turbo Force, which you can get at InfoWarsStore.com. Didn't see the plug coming, did you? But here it is, Turbo Force from InfoWars Life, 25% off. It's back, it's reformulated, it's in a canister, so you can scoop out as much as you need. You want a full scoop, you want a heaping scoop, you want half a scoop. You can get it all now by just going to InfoWarsStore.com and ordering Turbo Force. More strength, more power, more energy when you need it, and it's long lasting. It's got vitamin C, it's got niacin, B6, taurine, beta-alanine, acetyl L-carnitine, L-theanine, green leaf extract, coffee berry, guarana seed extract, yerba mate, and Oliva ATP are just some of the ingredients packed into Turbo Force. It's in a powder form. It's in a canister. You saw the commercial earlier. People were fighting over the last little bag. They don't even know. We got it now in a canister. So go to InfoWarsStore.com and pick up your Turbo Force. I don't know what you're waiting for. And that's really my only plug today. I feel bad I forgot to do it all throughout because we had so much information going on in an amazing interview. But we got another amazing interview, InfoWarsStore.com, and support what we're doing. It's you out there that fuel the jet engines that keep this whole thing twirling about.